Hello my friend, it's Zachary coming back at you with another video here. Today we've got a very special treat. I'm going to be interviewing Dan, the Life Regenerator McDonald. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and we were sitting here earlier just talking, and I was asking him some questions, and I was really inspired to share this with everybody. So I asked him if I could get an interview, and he said yes. So without further ado, here we go. So if you don't know Dan McDonald, you should check him out on YouTube. He is the Life Regenerator. He's been doing this for, how long have you been doing YouTube videos for?
A little over 6 years, bro.
A little over 6 years. He's got nearly 2,000 videos out there, and he is absolutely epic when it comes to health and spirituality and total cellular regeneration, and that's where we really click. So yeah, let's get started. So what have you been up to lately?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, Zach. You kind of know the answer to that question, sort of, because you're here working with me. We're doing a retreat right now on the island of Kauai. We're running the raw food retreat. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. I'm always learning from the people that I'm serving, and that, you know, about day 3 in the raw foods is kind of a few people started tripping and give us some cooked, just something, you know, because day 3 is usually the beginning of the detoxification, when you start to notice that you haven't had your ice cream or your cigarette or your coffee or whatever. So when the body starts detoxifying from like the grains or the meats, the epinephrine in the meats, or the, you know, the little, you know, opiates in the bread, you know, then you start to feel. They started to feel their feelings, feel themselves, and all that gets buried underneath so much what I call eatingness. I don't think it's in the dictionary, but
Yeah, we know what you mean.
yeah. So that's what we're doing, a raw food retreat, and we're having a great time. I'm having a wonderful time serving these people.
I'm having a wonderful time as well. Yeah, absolutely. So during this retreat, I've noticed that we've been doing a lot of, you know, more the gourmet raw at the beginning, and then we started getting into the cleaner raw foods, and that's when the detoxification really started in for people. All the while, I've noticed that you've been really focusing on eating fruit from the trees, and I thought that was pretty interesting because you're able to make really delicious food and yet eat fruit yourself. Is that something that you've grown into being able to do, or has that been your style the whole time?
Well, actually, that's a cool question. Yeah, at first I have my little thing with the fruits and the green juice. I'm a perpetual detoxifier, but it's also, when I say that, it's the way, it's the path, it's the journey, it's the purification. And it may seem a little bit extreme to some unless you understand the full picture of, you know, how you kind of, as you are born into a society with their habits and habituations, and then you make a lot of decisions that kind of go against your body, can kind of wear it down, leave a lot of residues, do different types of neurological damage, or really burn out the adrenals, or overwork the thyroid, or clog up the pineal and the pituitary glands with, you know, tap water, and there's drugs, and then there's these heavy mucus forming foods. And it's kind of a process of getting away from that, kind of becoming the master of the flesh, so that you can live more in the spirit, so that you are more in control of being able to stay in a state of harmony. And so really so the answer to the question is, over time I've learned the hard way. You go and I'll do my thing, and I drink mostly juice, and then I'll have some fruit, and then a really simple salad for the most part. But then when you get involved with teaching the gourmet, the classes, or you're preparing for people, there tends to be more of the nuts and the salt and the spices, because they're coming from a cooked food, and you want to transition them slowly, and you want them to say, this is really good, like the tacos or the burritos, or even the salads and the salad dressings, you know. And for me, you know, food is the same as everybody else. It's like a thing that you use. It's very stimulating to the mind. It's like there's a difference between a lychee and a total raw burrito with the beans and the guacamole and the avocado and the sour cream and the lettuce and the tomatoes and the cilantro and then some kind of nut cheese, and it's a big old thing, and it's just all this massive explosion. But as you know, and I've been pointing out throughout the week, and not talking about it too much, but just between you and me, but how the simple mono meals of fruit. Now I've come and gone. I haven't eaten much of the food. I don't think I've eaten any of it. No nuts, no salt, and anyways, that's just my thing. But there were a few days where I was really on point, and all I ate was just the mono fruits right off the trees. And there was one day when I didn't eat anything except what I harvested off the land, coconuts and lychees and a few other things, and avocados that we had harvested as well. And I was really, really high because one food at a time, is the ultimate way. And so that's the long answer to the question of, over the years, I've learned that it's easier for me to say no. I make the gourmet. I know that's what people want. They like it. They're transitioning. They may never want to do what I'm doing with the detoxification and the mental clarity. And that's fine. But for those that do want to learn the laws of nature because they may want to return to simplicity, harmony, or they need to heal up some kind of chronic or acute illness, then understanding juicing and the mucusless fruit diet, as well as different types of fastings, basically removal of the offending mucus-forming, acid-forming, high metabolic residue foods in combinations where the enzyme load or the vital force is kind of drawn from. So there's a vitality in the organism through the environment, the bare feet, the sunlight, the breath, the nerves, the detoxification of the brain and the endocrine glands during sleep at night. And that all adds to the vital force. And so for the most part, what you'll find is that people are kind of eating themselves sluggish, eating themselves out of mental efficiency and emotional purity, because it can be so difficult, and you want to resist with food or gambling or drugs or any of the things that we use to avoid that process of releasing the tracks, the subconscious tracks, which lead to emotional states that are less than optimum, like joy, bliss, love.
Yes.
And then those loops can repeat themselves, and then it creates a condition in the body like fear. Running from a saber-toothed tiger. If you're running from a saber-toothed tiger because you hate your job and you're living in LA and you're hella stressed out, and you're running from a saber-toothed tiger biologically, and your adrenals are always going because you're stressed out and worried about the bills, you're going to wear yourself out. And so what we're trying to teach here is and set an example of, simple eating, simplicity in lifestyle, mental coherence for the left and the right hemispheres through meditation, and also coherence with the mind and the heart, so that everything is lining up. So, and harmony with the body is the foundation that I see where most people are going wrong because of the processing, the denaturing, the mixing, the excessive consumption of refined, cooked, dead foods that don't, create harmony within the environment that you're living in. And there's a lot to that. So I'm not trying to judge anyone, but I'm just trying to point out that there are some steps that you can take if you're listening to the words I'm saying and absorbing some of this, these ideas, that you might be able to make some baby steps and move in a direction to where you can create more harmony, you can create more alkalinity, more flow, higher nerve energy, and emotional and mental detoxification energetically, so that you can be a more luminescent and radiant being on earth and have more harmony, love, and peace.
And I would say self-awareness too. You're one of the most self-aware people I know. And when I first got into this, I was watching Dan's videos and even taking the detoxification course with Dr. Morris as well. I thought raw foods was the actual answer. And what I'm learning here at this retreat is that it's not just raw that gets you there, because like you said, when you make these dishes that you blend a lot of different ingredients together, it just takes you only so far. And when you want to really get into the deep layers, not just in the physical body but emotionally and mentally as well, you really do benefit from what you're doing, which is the mono meal. And Dan also is a big fan of fasting, and I've noticed that you don't really eat first thing in the morning. Is that something that you have come to see a benefit of, or is that just kind of your natural appetite?
Well, ideally what I shoot for is 2 meals a day. And when I'm on my own, this is generally how it is. I don't have a hard and fast rule. Sometimes I wish that I created a community like the Essenes, where they would get together, they'd work in the gardens, they would get together at noon, they would sing and pray, they would eat 2 or 3 sorts of very simple, basic seasonal foods in silence. They would, and then they would go back out into the fields and work a little bit more, no overworking. And then again at 6, when the sun is set, they would come together again. The masters would only eat once.
Yeah.
And then the initiates, they would eat twice in the day. And for most of us, twice in the day is more than enough. A master only needs to eat once, and that's the truth. And you'll find that out because I've done that. I can't always sustain it because, like in this environment, my schedule's a little bit off. Like, because I'll just get in here and it's kind of like so busy that I'll slam some fruit, or we're going around. Here's this new fruit, and we're at the market, and it's like I've never seen that, so I'll try that. But for the most part, 2 meals a day, and ultimately, it's good to. I can go all the way till noon to have my lemon ginger blast, and I will drink half of a gallon of lemon ginger blast in one sitting. And that's 64 ounces of juice, but that's a lot of nutrition. And I lived off the lemon ginger blast for a week a few weeks ago. And I'm telling you, you can get clean and you can get clear on the lemon ginger blast, or the love, gratitude, and blessings.
Yeah, that's what we call it now.
What's the LGB stand for? Lou thinks it stands for lemon ginger blast, but we realized this morning it stands for love, gratitude, and blessings.
Yes.
And Taffy and Zach and I, we all kind of refined that. We're the mastermind group through the Christ consciousness. And we come together and we get all these ideas, and the whole thing just proliferates into an amazing effulgence of radiance that's like pure love. And then we keep each other on point, and we have a lot of love, and we build each other and lift each other up and keep each other on point by reminding ourselves not to judge others, keep coming back to love and forgiveness, and to support one another and accept the roles that we have, and continue to build each other up and support one another. And we encourage that between everyone, families and friends.
Absolutely.
These are the other things that go along with, this isn't just like, oh, this guy's got some kind of, food ideology. I'm looking at a holistic lifestyle, and I'm only doing it for myself like I did from the very beginning. But then I made a video one day, and then people were like, oh, it's so cool. And then everywhere you go, people can dig it, because you see all the people, you're the dude, like, especially here on the island. Every day, lots of people, they're like, you're that dude. And I'm like, that's right, baby. And it's cool, because then I can see, oh, people can dig it. They can dig.
They really dig it.
The fruits and the vegetables and the simplicity, but not just that, but the authenticity, the willingness to be authentic. Even though lately, the last year or so, I've kind of after a lot of things happened, I just kind of was like, whoa, I kind of started shielding myself. But I've grown a lot. Now I'm able to share knowledge, inspiration.
Yes, you are, absolutely. So that gets back to, let me just talk about for a little bit different levels. And you went raw right off the bat with you read the Essene Gospel of Peace. Most people know that, and you decided that that's what you wanted to do. And for the last 12 years, was it?
It's been 15.
15 years, my gosh.
October 2000.
So 15 years you've been doing this, and you're really hitting your stride right about now. So for somebody that's really just getting started, very few people would be able to jump straight into a mono meal type of a diet.
Yeah.
We both realize that when we coach people, that's
True
not
that.
really possible for most people. I mean, there's people out there that it can do that, but anyway, would you recommend that people kind of just jump into the raw food as far as the gourmet type of stuff and then work their way? I mean, that seems to be the right way to do it, but always having that vision of going a little bit further?
Yeah, understanding that at one point, if you're going to want to have the full activation, there's going to be a fairly long period of real detoxification, which may have to actually end up being your lifestyle. So I understand that most people want to do that because, and it's not that it wouldn't happen out in nature, but it's just that you've got, you've got car payments and house payments and relationships and kids and bills and jobs and you've chose that life. And so it's you that's doing that. But for the most part, we have to realize that most people are not going to take this path all the way to the end, although I would encourage them to, because it's just it's my way to live the way because of what I went through. So to reactivate certain centers in the brain and to detoxify the brain, that's basically, in case anyone's wondering, what I've been doing, why I've been like, okay, hi, it's Dan McDonald, and I'm in robot mode, just doing the paradigm stuff and kind of going through the motions here, just trying to keep the show going, but not really, able to fully express because brain detoxification is so little understood. And then there was a time on the channel, bro, where I felt like after a while with the violent vegans, is what I call them, the violent vegans, the angry vegans, whatever, I just felt violated. I felt like then I understood pearls to swine.
Yeah.
That saying, like, and then I started to guard this precious knowledge because it's a golden treasure of truth.
Absolutely.
And to be on the YouTube and for me to, I pick it up from books because I love to read and you do too. But see, I'm not trying to go to the coffee shop and convince the guy on the other side of the table while we sip on lattes how smart I am.
Right.
I'm going to go turn myself into a fasting institute and read some more fasting books and read them over and over again, and I'm going to go do some water fasting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be one of these chim-chims on YouTube that will put down water fasting without ever having done one once.
I know they do
Or
that,
talk
yeah.
about, you can't be a raw vegan, you got to have meat. Did you ever not have meat? So
Right.
you don't know. Like, I know that the best muscle is built from fruits and leafy greens, and I'm telling you, ripped, tight, powerful, clean. If you want to be oozing with putrefying fats and rancid proteins and have your armpits stink and have acidosis and uric acid and gout and arthritis, then you can go ahead and do what you want to do. But if you want to build powerful muscle, you get toned up and you eat dates and bananas and greens and lychees and coconuts.
Oh, the
And you
coconuts,
build clean, tight, ripped. Now I'm in the detox of the brain detox, and so you don't put a lot of emphasis on bodily strength at that time. Brain detox is something that's going to help a lot of people because most people did get the vaccines. Most people are breathing the air. Most people are tapping into the scalar waves with the heavy metals that are all throughout. Then they're getting programmed, and then they're not able to really think clearly. So you can come somewhere like this or go out into nature and hug some trees, go camping, buy an RV, sell your house, just something to get back to nature so that you can breathe the fresh air, put your feet on the earth, listen to the birds, hear the wind, get the rain on your feet, and then you can begin, your brain starts to harmonize, and you start letting go of all the debris that's muddling your spirit, because it would be amazing to be a clear channel for the divine energy which animates all of us. So that's a way to say, do you need to eat a certain diet to be that? No. But it's a holistic approach, and the clearer that the blood, the clearer the mind, the more highly functioning all the operating centers are, the glands producing these neurochemicals which release hormones into the body that are either they're stress hormones and you're like tightening up and wrinkling up and getting old and getting tight and having stress in your shoulders, or you're alkalinizing and you're loosening up and you're getting joyful and you're laughing and you're smiling and you're calm and poised and your heart is open and your adrenals are relaxed and your life is steady and calm and harmonious.
Yeah.
And most of us vacillate between a good mixture of all of it, but we can go in that direction by relinquishing the clouds of doubt, shame, grief, guilt, that which stem from fear, and go into the cultivation of, which is the antithesis of our society, to love. And surrounding ourselves with people who love us.
Yeah.
And loving others, perhaps we love some from afar, and we don't get into their energy field. And we surround ourselves with a tight-knit group of people who love us, understand us, and support us, but we cultivate mostly a love for ourselves as individuals because you are worthy and you deserve to love yourself, and cultivate a love for the divine, cultivate a love for truth, real truth, not the truth that you can put into a pretty little box and stand up on a pew at church and tell people how to think, but a truth that you can live by, that actually gets you the results that you want. And when you're getting the results that you want, able to inspire others, because they say, hey, you look better than you did 5 years ago, or you're losing weight, Mom, or wow, Dad, you seem to be so much more calm these days. What are you doing? Well, I saw this guy, Dan the Man. I started drinking green juice, and I went and I started meditating, and I get a massage once a week, and I just decided to kind of forgive your mom for all the stuff we've been through in the past, and we talked about it, and we got some counseling, or, it's like cultivating yourself, doing the work. This lady said today, I guess this can inspire you or not, but she said, you've done a lot of work, and some people know the story or not. I mean, it's like not the worst story, but not the best, because pretty much kind of had a homeless vibe going, didn't trust myself enough to be able to, didn't think I had enough money to pay rent.
Right.
I lived in these little shacks and things like that, and but I don't really have my own place still yet, but I live in my truck kind of, but I live in nice little motel rooms and stuff like that, or do things like this. But the point is that doing the work, the real work, instead of, it's kind of like, a lot of times what we do is we get born into a lot of thought structures with our family and our society, and then that's a nice little prison. And what we do is we just hire a really good interior decorator for our prison.
Yeah.
Maybe we even extend the prison walls a little bit. We get a new big screen, and we got a nice fluffy pillows, and we have a nice big refrigerator in our prison full of all the most delicacies of the world, and yet still, if we really wanted to fly, we couldn't, because of the walls that we can't necessarily say that we built them, but we decided to allow them to hold us in. So we're really trying to, it might be another way to say, what is DTM doing? What's his message is about? And how is he really truly living? He's living in a way that he feels will allow him to fly and to be free from the prison in which I cling to myself by having, attachments to things that are impermanent. And so we're now trying to fly by understanding and diving inward and excavating and sitting with self to find that eternal wellspring and sit in that place so that we can release the attachments, the plaques on the wall, the relationships, the the body that changes over time. When you're young, it's like, hey, I got this thing. You got a lot of power when you're like a 25-year-old woman. Everything's up,
Right.
up. But when it starts going down, you have a kind of that's your identity. things start to unravel. So if it's to identify, this is the wisdom that I am sharing with myself, to identify with the more infinite part of your being, to try to keep on cultivating an awareness of that infinite nature inside of all of us. And for me, I've found that the food helps you to keep the body clear, a clear channel, the blood being clear, so that you can do this work. So it's foundational to the work that is coming after that. Once you get clear, once you get some clarity in your blood and you start to process stagnant emotions and release them, a few tears, a few awakenings of buried subconscious patterns, so that you can wake up to what you've been creating in your life. Like, if you want to know what you are holding in mind, just look at your life. Your life is the projection of your mind. And if you want to have something different in your life, you may want to do something different with your mind. Now, that'd be a whole nother video in itself.
That is a whole nother video. So I'd like to address that a little bit, because I've noticed this actually. First of all, I'd like to say that physiologically, you are clean as a whistle, because you don't have body odor and your breath does not smell. And I think that's phenomenal. I mean, to me, that means, knowing what I know about the body, that your intestines and your whole digestive system is very, very clean. So with that said, I would say that you are clean as you can pretty much get on a physical level. Now,
I would argue with you.
Oh, would you?
About that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're pretty darn clean, bro. I mean, I've not smelled anybody that doesn't have a body odor ever else in my life. So
there's levels to it.
Well, there's levels to everything. But
I'm in preschool, bro.
What I was really gonna, well, you're doing the best I've seen. So what I was really gonna get to, though, is that I've noticed that the cleaner you get, the more emotions come up, and that's very common, isn't it? I mean, you get to a certain level of your physiology is clean.
People think they eat because they're hungry.
Right. No, it's to stuff it, isn't it? I do that too.
Oh, who doesn't, bro?
Yeah. So even someone as clean as you, that's part of the deal, because it's not really on the physiological
Can you say
level.
Avocados?
Right. No, I know it. But when you don't do that, you really emote, and things are really coming up for you. Do you feel like there's ever an end to that? Do you feel like you ever reach a point where there's no more processing, or do you feel like that's a lifelong journey?
It may be a lifelong journey in the sense that you may end up being a purified channel and need to work through some of the energetics on the planet. And if you're a really tapped in being, you'll be willing to do that for your brothers and sisters, and you'll be willing to do it without any hope for recompense, because you know the lawgiver, and you know where your reward is. And it's within yourself, when you're by yourself and no one else sees, and you know that you love life enough to be a channel to, as you transcend your limitation, you open that pathway a little bit wider for the brother or sister who's coming behind you. So sometimes a dude like this will have fire in his heart, horns on his head, and he just puts his head down and goes. And I know that I chose this life, that it wasn't going to be rosy.
Right.
Because I wanted to do a lot of work as a soul. And I may never have that she little life. You guys might see me 20 years from now going, man, there's just more to do, you know? And if that's what it is, that's what it is. But, you know, you could be lazy but it's just, there's a treasure. And the treasure, if you know there's a treasure buried 40 feet below the ground, and you just go and sit there and you just look at the ground and you go, well, one of these days maybe there'll be an earthquake and it'll just pop right up and land on my lap. Theoretically, maybe a lightning bolt comes down, maybe a tree falls over with big roots and it just lifts up the treasure and it lands next to you, and you go, oh, all right, I was glad I was sitting here all this time. But you know, it's better if you know the treasure's down there 40 foot below the ground, you just get a shovel. And you start digging away at your own junk to get at the treasure. And there's all the different ways, or is the way to the one that you seek, which is yourself, which is the source of your life.
Yeah, so when it comes to that, this is just a question I've always wanted to ask you. What do you feel is better for detoxification, for getting really deep? Do you feel that it's the green juice, or do you feel that it's the mono fruits, or do you feel it's the water fasting? I mean, what for you would be the deepest level that you could take it at this point?
Well, maybe I'll do a little bit of a. We'll go from like we'll go down. We'll just go up the channel in my own way of looking at it and experience. But I would say like processed sad food, which is about 80% of the food. The stuff in boxes and cans, some better than others, but okay, there's the ultra processed death, colorants, additives, preservatives, toxins, neurotoxins. Then there's the processed stuff like kidney beans in a can, just cooked with some salt. Okay, that's another notch up. Then you've got things like whole meats and whole grains and dairy products that are natural, organic. That's another notch up. And then you've got, and there's variations within this. I'm just hitting the basics. And then there's then you get to the place where I like to roll. And that's, nuts and seeds. Raw, of course. If you cook them, you ruin the fats and the proteins and everything. Raw nuts and seeds. Then you've got the raw vegetables, and then the raw herbs, and then the raw fruits, and then you've got the liquidarian, then you've got the breatharian, or you've got the liquidarian, then you've got the wateritarian, where you're just living off water, and that's called water fasting, and you don't do it for a long period of time, but certain people can through, when certain things are activated and stuff, you start to begin to absorb nutrition from the sun and the earth and through the breath. I don't recommend any of this actually, but I mean, you can
research it. You can
do your own research, and then there's the dry fasting, which is nothing, and that is the ultimate fasting. We're not recommending that to anybody, obviously, but I'm just saying that we are much more than what we've been taught in elementary and high school and college, and we're much more than the media is going to let on to you. You're going to have visionaries that understand that we are beings of light. Yes, we live in the flesh and we want to keep it balanced, but being that the power within you is infinite, that just means that you have to at least accept that there are possibilities that are infinite within you, were you able to or had the desire to. It's no question that we are powerful enough, but is anyone going to want to do that? And what's funny about it is I've had this vision is that once you get that high spiritually that you can do that kind of thing, regenerate the body over and over, you're like over it. You don't even care. You're in such a space that you know exactly what you are, and the only reason to hold on to the flesh would be to teach some kind of lesson or to share with people. But I mean, the body, it's interesting that the tissues are designed to replicate themselves continuously, unending. But what happens is it's the inflammatory damage and stress which creates a little more cellular damage, and so those cells don't replicate themselves as rapidly or is in a high vibrational state like a little tiny baby, because we start off right away giving them dead Gerber, dead soy milk, and a stressed out mom nursing 2 kids and doesn't have time to even pay attention to the baby to give it that real food, which is the beating of the heart, safety, calm,
nurturing,
adrenals, and nurturing, which produces growth hormones. And then that which is eaten, that is the freshest and the best, most high vibrational mother's milk and fruits, mashed up fruits. Then that baby becomes, the glands and the brain, depending upon what happened in utero, the baby absorbs. See, when we're stressed out, we don't absorb the nutrition,
Right.
or when we get all the mucus from the cereal and the bread and the eggs and the cheese that leaves that layer of mucus, which keeps the absorbability. And then you've got the stress, which inhibits growth hormone and absorbability and efficiency within the organism. So we're really looking at efficiency, and there's no one right way. It's just some general principles we would want to share that would empower people to start asking themselves questions. How could I be more efficient? How could I absorb more minerals, vitamins, and liquids so that I could eat less and do more and be clearer and take the time to be brave enough to process the emotions that are stagnant. Most people won't, probably. I know why they don't. It sucks. When you start going through processing all your subconscious childhood self-worth, lovability issues, are you worthy? For the most part, some part of you is, at least in some way or another, not worthy. That's what you think.
Right.
Of success, of abundance, of love, of health and happiness and joy. You feel guilty. You know,
Yeah.
people run from love.
I know it.
It's right there in their face, and they can't handle it. Because love exposes, love is a mirror, love is a cleanser, love is an awakener, love is the purifier. And if you're in a place where there's love and you can't handle it,
You're getting out of there.
you got to get out of there. And so that's why love is courage. Love is truth. And love is the ability to be present and vulnerable and authentic
Yes.
and human.
Yeah, really.
And imagine that.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the things I've heard is what the DTM is over the years. And I would really intend to get back to authenticity. Just kind of got train wrecked on the YouTube for a while there and couldn't wrap my head around why people would do things. Because I call it, your hands are tied with decency. Because you would never think that way.
Right.
Because you've been through so much pain that you don't go in this world to create
More pain, right.
for others. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like what you're trying to do is create goodness and love and peace and harmony, because that's what you want, because you know what it's like to not have it.
Right.
You know what it's like to live in a war zone. You know what it's like to be surrounded by violence. You know what it's like to be abused. You know what it's like to be put down and to feel unloved. You might not have known that you felt unloved, but as you get more mature, you're like, wow. People might say certain things and you don't even let it in, but you let the negativity sure get you, bring you down, but you don't let the love in. I would say do the opposite. Let the love in and don't let any of that, the type of negativity, criticism. Yeah, because we are perfectly imperfect. And you're just exactly the way you need to be. And I really need to hear that myself, in the sense that, we've all come to the terms, it's like, oh, before I was weird, but now that I'm coming into my own, it's like I'm eccentric.
Yeah. You are.
And so are you. You just are letting your family tell you how to think. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses instead of really like, who are you? Are you the next Mozart? Are you going to just do what your parents want and be a lawyer or a doctor? Or are you going to go and do what you really want to do? And are you going to take the time to find out what that is?
Absolutely. So I've got one more specific question for you. I really appreciate your sharing too. You're really opening up, and I think the audience is really going to appreciate this as well. This is another question I've wanted to address with you for a long time, and I haven't actually asked you. So you're on the raw food lifestyle. You're detoxing too hard. Do you go back to the cooked foods? I know you don't, but what do you recommend for the average Joe? I mean, is it a sin to eat the cooked foods?
It's not a sin if you use the food as medicine, because you have gotten so off track. You can't just put a dude who has 40 pounds of rotting animal flesh in his gut on a water fast and then feed him a fruit diet afterwards. He's going to have a blowout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need like 20 colonics over the course of a year. And, you know, ultimately, if I was doing hands-on, I could guide people through it and keep them 100% raw using nuts and seeds,
Yeah.
enzymes and probiotics and colonics and massages and some simple yoga, breathing, walking to help them to work through it. But that would be a one-on-one thing. And, you know, my time wouldn't be as efficient.
Right.
So would I recommend like steamed vegetables as medicine? You know, ultimately, like for myself, I would like to see, like if I had a healing retreat, I would do my absolute very best to transition people keeping it fully raw, because I have like this, you know, this vision for myself, and this vision that living foods is the best.
It is.
And each meal can be an addition to the vibration, even the soaked and sprouted and cultured nuts and seeds, the fresh herbs with the living water, and the fruit with the living cellulose and the living minerals and the living vitamins and the living water. That being said, ultimately what I did do for years, and that's why I can say this, is that it's steamed vegetables can put on the brakes without you going back to some pizza and kind of ruining the whole thing, or burgers, or even like rice or potatoes. You know, like I'm not against anything, but I am aware that there was times when I would use baked potatoes as a drug.
I've done that too.
And it's like sometimes we don't understand that, and we can make all kinds of rationalizations, and that's just the highest level stuff. But if you really want to get clear with your mind and emotions, then you want to get on the journey. And 15 years later, I'm literally just getting started on the level of where it's really going to start to pay off this work that I've done. See, so 15 years. So if we live in a society where it's like, what, 3 weeks has gone by and I'm on raw foods, I lost 8 pounds and I don't feel that much better, you know, then they give up. Well, then you don't see the long-term picture by aligning yourself with the way and living in harmony with it until the end of your days. It's not like you don't just live in harmony with nature for 21-day detox on smoothies. You make it a lifestyle to live according to the laws of nature. That's what I've been saying all along.
Yeah.
It's not a 7-day juice fast or even a 90-day juice feast, and then you go back to Christmas and holidays, Thanksgiving, birthdays, cheesecake, and, you know, junk food and fast food. That would be ridiculous. It's like you don't stop improving, refining, and seeking your potential. It's always at work, and that is the nature of the universe. So if you're in harmony with the light, the animator, that is, the animator is just trying to get back to itself, so that the animator is holistic, androgynous wholeness. And so through you, that wholeness is looking for itself to expand and completely connect with its own purity. And it wants to do that through you as a human being, and beings that you have that frontal lobe and that humongous brain in your head, which is the most advanced technology in the universe, the human brain that we know of. You want to feed that human brain these fruits. These fruits are what grew your brain. These guys are on here talking about, we made a fire and burned up some dead animals.
Meat,
You had to chase that animal down. It doesn't sit in nature. You want to go chase down a animal that can horn you to death or step on you or claw you to death, when it's like the avocados, there's 500 avocados on that tree. There's thousands and hundreds of pounds of lychees over there that go right to your dome. And if you have a mono lychee meal, your brain lights up.
It sure does. We did that. Yeah.
And the avocado, that just feeds a density and a grounding. And then what else? We've got coconuts and limes and oranges. And oh, dude, the sapotes.
Oh, those are epic.
That's carb up.
Right.
That's carb up.
Raw carb the F up, yes.
You want to get some carb up. You want to do some sapotes. All this other business is craziness. You know what I mean? This is real food. I'm trying to promote real food for real kids, real people, real adults, real grandmas, real everybody. And real food is the simple food that's in the produce section that's got the living vitamins, the living water, the living cellulose, and it keeps you clean, keeps you absorbing. Bioavailability goes into the blood through the GI tract, feeds the brain, the sugars feed the brain. The amino acids are there broken down in simple form so that they can be reformulated, broken down through enzymatic action into substrates, which either break down for absorbability or substrates that are connected through enzyme activity to build up the body. So there's the catabolic and the anabolic flow, the up and down. But I'm just saying, these natural foods, fruits and herbs, if you want to really know what's what, in my opinion, fruits and herbs. The vegetables are a secondary class. The carrots and beets is cool. It can be used medicinally, but the highest vibrational foods, which are mucusless, energizing, and transformative for the human organism, which will slowly over time transform you completely and release the inflammation, acidosis, congestion, feed the cells in your body, and transfer through the organism, leaving the least amount of metabolic residue, fruits and leafy green plants. And then you bring in the nuts and the seeds at different times of the year, or if you want to really stay jacked up, and if you soak, sprout, and culturize those, it's a new technology which takes it to another level. Thank God for that. Because normally you'd be out in nature culturizing the sunflower seeds, but y'all don't even know. I've tried to have a meal of sunflower seeds because I used to grow sunflower plants. Well, you will be sitting there for many, many hours culturizing the single nut at a time, and the odds of getting full, I mean, I never did get full. I would sit for 3 hours, 4 hours eating sunflower seeds and would never get full, and had a revelation, this is how it should be, because you're sitting there culturizing it in your mouth, one seed at a time. Same thing with the walnuts. When we would go and harvest the walnuts on the side of the road, crack one open at a time. It takes a good hour or two. By that time, you're done. You don't even, because when they're shelled, you just grab the bag, turn the TV
and go
on.
for it.
Next thing you know, what happened to that bag of walnuts? I just ate the whole damn
Not
thing.
natural,
So the seed, the shell, especially like even Brazil nuts, crack about 8 of those things, 12 of them at the most. That's a serving. No, we got them shelled at the store. Next thing you know, you just ate 45 Brazil nuts. It's too much. So we're trying to get back to nature by using our sanity here, and this is the nature of sort of what I'd like to share, and hopefully it gets absorbed, and then any information inspires people to make good decisions through this experience that I've had as I try to work my way back to natural living so that I can be a better example as I get more energy here and continue to heal my heart from a lifetime of childhood trauma and regenerate my brain with the right thoughts and the right self-talk statements. I am. Now, what do you want to fill in the blank? I am fat, or do you want to say I am healthy? You see what I'm saying? Whatever you say is what you're going to get. Whatever you repeat over and over is what your subconscious mind is going to pick up. So what are you saying to yourself silently or out loud when you're talking to your friends? Oh, Margaret, my arthritis is getting terrible. You know, and you're like, what did you just say to your body again? My arthritis is getting worse. It's getting worse. You seem to say, I'm feeling better and better every day. Every day in every way, I'm feeling better. My joints are loose. You got to repeat that. You got to command the flesh. That's what I'm saying. That's the power. And so I'm just, like I said, I'm in preschool. I don't need to see, I got to watch what I say. But you see what I'm saying? Like, so I'll say it. I am mastering the art of languaging. I am mastering the art of commanding the cells in my body to respond in the way that I want. And we're at a hypnosis retreat where we're learning how this one guy, he's like, I can't do hot peppers. And all of a sudden,
That was amazing.
he reprograms himself. And I've always known that.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to that. You got to look at your mind people with all the different things. None of that does anything to me because it's not in my brain.
Right.
So whatever you think, your mind is the, you're putting emanating thoughts into this universe. You're saying statements and you're getting that back.
Indeed.
And the more repetitious they are and consistent for good or ill, that's how you become the commander of the ship of your destiny, is by saying, and it don't matter what anybody says, you say, I'm 125 pounds, and your wife looks at you and she's like, no, you're not. I just looked at you on the scale, it's 210. You look at her and you say, I am 125 pounds. You say it to yourself in your sleep. You say it to yourself in your meditation. You say it to yourself when you look at the scale. You don't even look at the scale. All you know is it says on your mirror, I weigh 125 pounds. Well, that's pretty small for a man. But I mean, it's saying, whatever. There's a small man. But you bring it in by knowing that it's already there. And we're going to start sharing more of that here because I am abundant.
I am abundant.
I am radiantly healthy. And the more relaxed and calm and at peace you are in a more natural theta or delta state of brainwave coherence, the more it just goes right into the subconscious. So when you get relaxed and you get calm and you just let go and you sit and you breathe and you let go of the tension of the day, whether you're laying or sitting, and you say, I am so happy that my wife and I are living harmoniously now. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might be having disharmony with your wife. Well, why? Because you're just thinking a certain way, acting a certain way. You're not calling it in. You're not collapsing harmony from the field of possibility into the objective reality. But if you just say, I am harmonious, I am living harmoniously with my wife, and you repeat that over and over again, you don't even need to tell her what you're doing. But in a week or two, she's going to notice something's different. If you're serious about it in your heart, she's going to start, because you're going to start programming yourself to be harmonious, and then you're going to say, yes, dear, I'll get right on that garbage, and then you actually do take out the garbage instead of waiting 4 hours, or then she has to remind you twice, and then you get all snippy, hey, don't tell me what to do. She says, honey, can you take out the garbage? And you're programmed for harmony. You say, yes, dear, and you just make a new decision, which you were going to go watch TV, but you decide to take the trash out first, and she looks at you and like, what? And then she starts to change, and then you can create a whole new world within your environment by the powerful creator that you're allowing yourself to become by the thoughts that you're thinking and magnetizing those with more love in your heart by cultivating the love which we talked about at the beginning of this video.
Awesome. That's beautiful. So true. So very true.
We are powerful.
We are powerful.
Beyond our
Wildest imagination. Exactly.
Jinx.
No,
You just got to know it. You've just got to believe that your wildest imagination, get that back. I don't care if you're a 67-year-old grandpa and you were in the war and you got shot 3 times and you've had one hell of a life. It's time for you to be a child again and start using your imagination, because you ain't out of here yet. You're still breathing, and your imagination, your childlike joy, your childlike imagination. We imagined this thing up. Mama wants to go to Hawaii. I don't know how it happened to me, but I just said, well, if you want to go, I'll do it for you. And then I came here so she could have a Hawaiian vacation. So I'm cool, and I had the best time ever. I've had revelation after revelation.
Lots of healing here, huh?
Lots of
Very
healing.
healing place for all of us.
Someone want to go to the airport and pick up my truck and just take it and put it somewhere, you can have it.
Dad's in Hawaii.
That's the only thing that's got me going back is the dadgum truck sitting at the airport. That was a bad move. I didn't realize I was going to be like, well, hey, why would I ever want to leave this place?
Paradise.
paradise
It's the Garden
on
of
Earth.
Eden. Mm-hmm.
All the free, organic, free-range chicken you want.
Ah.
Millions of chickens. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't recommend
But
that.
we're all about the fruit here. I mean, it's too good not to dive right in, climbing up the trees. We've been doing a lot of wild harvesting, and doesn't get any fresher than that, does it?
Farmer's market every day, dude.
Mhm.
Papayas, pineapples,
Mangoes,
bananas, mango
lychee,
season,
all of
lychee. The freshest organic greens.
Of all time.
Parsley, dandelion yesterday. That we just put that in the lemon ginger blast this morning.
Mint, too, that mint.
The
Oh,
mint was like this.
Epic.
The celery hasn't been epic, but there's epic cucumbers. Haven't had any epic celery yet.
No, not yet.
So, but that's okay. Well, the cucumbers make up for
We
it.
make it work.
But we love the fruits and the veg. We've had a lot of good experience here, and we're going to continue to share not only the diet, but the heart and the mind and the infinite potential that you are. And maybe one or two people will hear this message, and I'll be complete, straight up.
Absolutely.
I heard it.
I heard it too.
I'm a better man for it because I have absorbed the knowledge of some of the most brilliant minds in the world, and I decided that I was going to live by that and let it sink into my heart and wear it like a treasure and do everything I could every day to do the absolute best that I can without stressing myself or being critical, to live up to that information, to the information that I felt resonated with me. If there was something that was like, you got to mix your beans with your rice, and I thought, well, that doesn't, complete proteins, that doesn't resonate. But
Right.
things like, having clean blood vessels from a mucusless diet, which comes from the fruits and the herbs and the enzymes, and keeping your glands clean and living as stress-free as possible and as simple as possible, and living in harmony and doing your best to create harmony and be more loving to the people in your general vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's so much of that going on here.
yeah, this is a magic place. But the magic is within you, and as you become more of a master, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of New York City, you're the hustle and bustle, but you know, and you can be kind to the cab driver. You don't need to be impatient, no matter where you are. If there's impatience in the air, you just observe it, and you don't let go of patience, because that's your divine quality. You don't let go of persistence or kindness or decency or integrity or honesty. That's another thing we can just go on and on about. We'll do each quality. It's not like I'm some living guru or anything. It's just I'm a dude who's willing to talk about divine qualities. And who's the main benefactor of the speaking of the divine qualities? This one.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about NASCAR or football, or we could talk about Girls Gone Wild, and we do when the camera's off. Not really.
Not really.
But we could talk about divine qualities, and we could say the word harmony. And just saying the word harmony, or saying the word, you love the word joy.
I love the word joy.
I love joy. I am feeling joy right now.
Joyful, full of joy. Yes.
I am feeling joyful right now.
Ah, yes.
I am feeling exuberant.
I love grateful too. I feel so grateful
I like that.
to be here.
I can
Grateful.
feel that.
I'm grateful. The gratitude is overflowing just for this breath and this opportunity to sit here with my friend in this beautiful place and share with you guys. Yeah.
I am
Divine
grateful.
qualities. Absolutely.
I like that one too. I am joyful. I am filled with the joy of life. I am grateful for that joy.
Yes.
I am at peace.
I am peaceful.
I am harmonious.
Yes.
I am calm. I am at ease. I am stoked, dude.
Yes, sir. We're just getting started.
I am stoked. How do you do it, Whitey?
Like this, and we go like that, and then we blow it up at the end.
Beautiful. Everyone's got a little different one. I didn't
Yeah.
know you had one.
I just made that up.
Oh,
We're in the
good.
flow.
we
Right
hope
here,
to-
right now, baby.
Okay, we've
That's
got to.
where we're at.
Let's practice it. Oh, okay, got it. Smooth, baby, smooth. I like it.
Nice.
So I'm on my way to go make dinner. We're hella late.
Yeah, we are late.
Hecka late.
Yeah, but guess what? We're in perfect time because we're always on time. It seems like we're late by the clock, but we're always on time because that's just how we roll. So
What's for dinner tonight?
tonight we're doing a little bit of cooked food. We're gonna have quinoa, and then we're gonna have a dish that Mama Taft made, which is sweet potatoes, carrots, and I believe she's putting some dates in
Apples?
there too, and
Dates?
apples. Yeah, so it's
Bake
gonna be
that up.
with a little bit of cinnamon, and then you're gonna make your epic Mexican style salad.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
blow their mind.
Woo! So thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a wonderful pleasure for us to share with each other and to impart that to you guys. And we wish you a magnificent day and a magnificent life. And I hope that you were able to gain something from this video. So from Dan and I here in Kauai, blessings and love. And we'll be back with you real soon. Peace.
Did we forget something?
What's that?
Subscribe to these videos. Go to my Facebook fan page, Dan the Life Regenerator, and give that a thumbs up. And then check out my website where you can get some really powerful information on the juicing, the blending, the detoxification, and the entrees and desserts in the form of my DVDs, which are available at my website, regenerateyourlife.org. My claim to fame, I got more raw food DVDs than any man that's ever lived. 14 of them, I think, now.
Yep.
So check that out, and you'll be better off for it, taking that information laid out in an objective and linear way so that you can really educate your mind on how to make these this information that we shared here more practicable in your day-to-day life experience. And thank you for letting me share that. I appreciate your time and attention very much, and I appreciate you very much, Zach.
I appreciate you very much
for
as well.
holding space, bro.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And being a great friend, and a great cameraman, and a great dishwasher, and a great organizer, and a great wingman. A lot of great things, and much, much more to come from this man and myself to serve the world. So we've gone on long enough on how much we love you, baby.
All right, everybody. Peace.